Good evening, good evening, family. My very blessed and loved family in Jesus Christ, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. I just want to just let you know God loves you. And I want to talk about his timing. We don't understand the word delay when it comes to God's timing. We don't understand not now when it comes to God's timing. We have events that we expect to happen, and we think things are going to go the way that we want them to go. And we think that God's going to just go ahead and give us our way when his way is best. So this morning I was hoping to get on a plane. That didn't happen. I don't have all the funds to be able to accomplish getting to Canada. And I was kind of hoping on things to work out. The flight was taken by somebody else. I didn't have the funds to be able to get a correct flight directly to Toronto, where I will be going directly into a hospital, Western Hospital, which is a block from my daughter's house. And that didn't happen. And this morning, well, actually, it was late last night. I woke up to use the bathroom and looked at my phone and seen that the gentleman that was purchasing the ticket had left for the US. And he said that the flight that we were going to get was no longer available. And I kind of knew that was going to happen because it was a cheap flight. But if you don't purchase flights immediately, they get taken. And this being Resurrection Weekend, the flights are not as available as they would be if it wasn't a big holiday. With that being said, as well, it's high season still here in the Dominican Republic, meaning that there are still people coming and going. Um, and so flights are less available for that reason as well. But I have almost everything in order. I'm short about $720 to be able to accomplish getting to Canada. But when I was talking about God's timing and thinking about God's timing, and when I got that message that I wouldn't be leaving this morning, I just gave out one of those sighs of, could anything else go wrong? Could anything else go wrong? And then, this morning when I woke up, I was praying and laying in bed, and I came down here, hobbled down here, and my foot and leg were in excruciating pain. I made my way down here to the sitting area. And was talking to one of the gentlemen here and just, having a good godly conversation. He's not a Christian, but I was just explaining to him how, if we don't give God the glory in all things, then we don't know who God is. Because he was, in a state of awe in how I've handled all of this. And he can't understand how I can just continue to have faith in God when nothing seems to go right for me. And I said, but everything has gone right. Yeah, I didn't get that flight, but I'm still going to give God the glory because I don't know what he's up to and I don't know his timing. And about 2 hours later, I made my way back to the room and I was laying there relaxing, and I got a message that the prescription for my new antibiotic prescription was paid for, or not paid for, I paid for it, but was being brought to my place of residence. And that cost me 7,000 pesos, which works out to about 150, $160. So I had to dip into the money that I use for getting to Canada to be able to do that, which is fine. I was grateful that I was getting the medication. Now I have to go into a clinic and spend an hour there every day to get the drip, the intravenous drip, which I have been poked with intravenous in the last month 20 something times, and it's just a lot to deal with. My veins were collapsing. They couldn't find veins. It became very uncomfortable. So when they took the intravenous out yesterday, when I left the hospital, I was like, oh, thank God I don't have to have that anymore. Well, it turns out I'll be going to the clinic every day for the next 7 days to do that. And my flight returning to Canada should be Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. And I'm grateful for that. And then about an hour and a half, 2 hours later, a gentleman showed up with this. It's like an air cast, a support cast for my foot and leg. And I just laughed because I was like, because I didn't have to pay for it. Somebody gave it to me as a gift. And so I just laughed. I was like, wow, God, you are so good. Your timing is so amazing. Why do I ever doubt that you have control? And that although things don't work out in the way I want them to work out, in my timing, in what I expect to be perfect timing, you always show up at the exact time, at the right time. And I'm just so grateful that he has given me the discernment to be able to recognize his timing versus my timing. Because this morning I was upset that I wasn't getting on a flight. I didn't know what God was up to. I looked at it as another attack from the enemy, but in fact it wasn't. It was God's timing. Because had I gotten on that flight this morning, I wouldn't have got the medication that I need, and I also wouldn't have got this foot cast, which isn't the prettiest looking thing, but it's better than what I had. And now I can at least put a little bit of pressure on my leg when I walk, and it sturdies my leg and it protects it. So I give God the glory for that. But what I'm saying is this: when things don't work out in the timing that you require, or the timing that you have set as being the perfect timing, I want you to just know that God's timing is the only timing that's going to be perfect and that is going to matter and that is going to come at the perfect time. And that's exactly what has happened. Is that I have now got this, which I'll need to go back to Toronto with for the airplane ride and for getting through the airports, and just having it even after whatever they do to me in the Toronto hospital. I'll need this to be able to sturdy my leg and be able to walk and be a little bit more mobile. And it's not good to be walking or using, your bare foot without some kind of a cast or some kind of a support. So I've got this support, and I'm so grateful to God. My Lord, He is so good. Jesus, I give you all the glory. The timing of God it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. And that's why I don't care too much for the time of this world, for that 9 to 5, for that watch, that clock that we are constantly, following and submitting to the time. You got to be at work at 9. You get home at, you leave office at 5. You have to be this appointment at 4. You got to go do this at 5. You got to be up at 7. It's just, yeah, that's a part of the world, and unfortunately we're in it. But you have to really recognize the difference between God's timing and the world's timing. And what I'm telling you is that don't be so quick to get upset when things don't work out in the perfect time that you think is important, because God is going to absolutely 100% for sure. Come on now. For sure show up when the time is perfect, when the time is right, according to His will and His plan and His purpose for your life. I want you guys to think about that, because there's somebody out here right now, somebody listening, that expects something to happen at this time or at this date, on this day or at this month, and it hasn't happened. I'm letting you know that God will make it happen when He knows it is perfect and in the perfect timing for that to happen. He's that good. He is good. He's always good and never bad. His timing is perfect and never wrong. He's never early and never late. He's on time every time. All right. If you guys have it in your ability to help me recoup some money, get on that flight next week. I want to be able to purchase the ticket so that I don't lose the ticket because I'm waiting. And I know that God's timing will be perfect. Somebody will help me. I know that God will touch somebody's heart. Maybe somebody that has helped me and hasn't helped me in a while. Maybe somebody that is considering it but isn't sure. Maybe somebody that just needs a little bit of a heart tug. I want you to know that God loves you. Give him the glory. Look, I've been through a lot, a lot. Even coming out of that hospital yesterday, the elevator was broken, and I had to hobble down 2 flights of stairs without this leg support. Don't even want to begin to tell you how excruciating that was. But with every step I took down on that staircase, I gave God the glory. With every ache and every pain, I looked up and I thanked him because I know he walks with me and I walk with him. And I know that he loves me and I love him. Trust God, trust his timing. All right, guys, be blessed. I might come back and do a live later. I want you to give God the glory. All right, have a wonderful night.